Hello everyone, good morning and welcome back to Sports Today. We bring you this video segment every single morning to help you catch up with things that you might have missed out on whilst you were catching up on some all-important rest. Because let's face it, whilst you and I and the whole world really need sleep, the world of sport doesn't really sleep. There's always something or the other going on, and it can be a bit much to keep abreast of every single development. But worry not, that's what we're here for. And let's catch you up straight away with all of the latest happenings in the world of sport, starting with something that has become, out of nowhere, a very big concern for Indian cricket. An injury concern to Tilak Varma that has forced him to undergo surgery. Now, Tilak Varma has successfully undergone testicular surgery after feeling acute pain in that region and having been rushed to the hospital and being diagnosed with something called testicular torsion. Now, the real concern when it comes to all of this is how exactly will this play out for his T20 World Cup hopes, because it's come about with less than a month to go for the tournament, and a basic Google search will tell you that recovery from this sort of an injury, you will need to do a bare minimum of 2 weeks of absolutely nothing, and then and only then can you start doing basic movement. But even then, you're advised of high intensity stuff like sporting action. So whether or not Tilak will be able to make it to full fitness in time, he's definitely not going to be playing a part in the T20 series against New Zealand potentially. He's not been officially ruled out yet, but that does seem to be how it is that will go. His T20 World Cup hopes also seem at best, touch and go. So that is the two real major stories. One is that he's gotten surgery, but two is that it pretty much puts his World Cup hopes in severe jeopardy at this point in time. The T20 World Cup preparation, of course, is going on elsewhere as well. And Pakistan and Sri Lanka are currently engaged in a series. And Pakistan have emerged victorious in the first match of that 3-game series. They did so with pretty comfortable margin as well, by 6 wickets, underlining that they are probably one of those teams who will be looking to actually make a statement. Don't forget, they were T20 World Cup finalists only 4 years back, really, nearly 4 years back in 2022. But struggled big time thereafter in 2024 with more or less the same team. They were a shadow of themselves, and truth be told, they would be hoping that if they can do well in Sri Lanka, it bodes well for them heading into the T20 World Cup. And one of the things that will actually bode well for their chances is the availability of star pacer Shaheen Shah Afridi. He's not playing this series because he ended up picking up an injury during the Big Bash League that pretty much meant that his World Cup hopes are also touch and go. And now Salman Ali Agha, the skipper, has said that we're hopeful he will be fit. So it's a somewhat positive update. But again, he's not 100% come out and said that no, he will be playing. It's hopeful he will be fit. So it does seem like that even Shaheen will pretty much be available on a touch and go kind of basis. Very bad time to pick up that injury, but such is the modern cricket calendar that it's placing so much of a burden on a lot of cricketers' bodies that, truth be told, this is bound to be happening more often than not. In more cricket news, Australia have sealed the Ashes, and we've done a live video on that as well. You can check that out later on the channel if you haven't already. But they won the test, the 5th and final test in Sydney, by 5 wickets, which means they won the series 4-1, which means that the Ashes stays with Australia for at least another 2 years. The next series, of course, will be taking place in 2028 when they will be touring England. So, well, it's obviously a humbling loss for baseball, but whether or not any heads will roll is something that only time will tell. Although, truth be told, I'd be very surprised if none did. We've discussed that more in detail in that other video. You can go ahead and check that out as well once you're done with this one. But for now, let's switch our focus from the world of cricket to the world of football. And there were plenty of Premier League games last night, ones which, truth be told, could play a decisive role in the title race. Why do I say that? Well, for one, Manchester City, the team many were expecting to give Arsenal a close fight, ended up drawing with Brighton and Hove Albion 1-1. It's their second straight draw on the trot. And truth be told, doesn't put them in a good position when it comes to clawing back the deficit to Arsenal. To make things worse, the other major team who are looking like potential title challengers in Aston Villa also played out a draw, this time a 0-0 to Crystal Palace. What does that mean? It means that if Arsenal end up winning their game, which is a tough one, may I add, against Liverpool, it means they'll go 8 points clear. However, if they end up dropping points, then of course it would say that the title race is still alive. But 8 points in the month of January is a very imperious lead, and few teams have blown that big a lead. And there were other matches as well, plenty of matches. So I've clubbed two major results into one match, into one update rather, because truth be told, neither of these teams have a proper manager. Chelsea, a 10-man Chelsea, thanks to Marc Cucurella's red card, lost 2-1 to Fulham. And thereafter, Manchester United, who were playing at the same time, suffered a 2-all draw against Burnley. And the reason I say suffered a draw is because this is a Burnley team who seem all but certain to get relegated back into the Championship. They've not really been all that good this year and are currently rooted to 19th spot. And it's also the second game where United have come up against a team certain to go down and made them look like world beaters. Wolverhampton Wanderers also managed to get a point against United. So this is several points dropped for the Red Devils, who were under the caretaker management of Darren Fletcher. Don't forget, Chelsea were also under caretaker management of Callum McFarlane, with new manager Liam Rossinier set to take charge of their next game, which is going to be an FA Cup game against Charlton Athletic. Switching focus now, other sports as well, and one sport which has been gaining a lot, which will be gaining a lot of coverage in the next few days, will be the Australian Open, will be tennis, because the Australian Open Grand Slam is set to begin very soon. And an Indian tennis player is actually making a few waves in a tournament at home. The Bangalore Open has seen Dakshineshwar Suresh have a dream run in place. He won his first round match against a pretty much higher ranked opponent, and he's now entered the quarterfinals of the Bangalore Open. And Sumit Nagal, India's top ranked male singles tennis player, ended up bowing out after a pretty big fight, a very, very good match, but he ended up losing out. Don't forget, for Suresh as well, this is a wildcard entry that he's gotten into this tournament. So however far he can go, he should grab that opportunity with both hands, because his current ranking is in the 500s. That will improve if he continues to play well. But in the 500s right now, getting a wildcard chance, so far, I will say he's made the most of it. Last bit of news before we bring an end to this edition of The Wrap. A national shooting coach, Ankush Bhardwaj, has been suspended by the National Rifle Association of India. Why? Because he was accused of sexual assault by a 17-year-old athlete. Obviously, after that allegation, he's now under investigation, and pending the conclusion of that investigation, has been suspended by the NRIA. We'll do a separate video on what exactly that was, the details of that story as well, so you can check that out later on. Obviously, plenty more sporting content coming your way, but for now, I'll take you guys leave. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, if you enjoy our work, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, follow us on social media too. We're on Instagram, X, and Facebook, and stay tuned throughout the day for more such updates from the world of sport.